Chairman, thank you. Chairman and Secretary, thank you for your presence and your service. Mr. Secretary, what's your explanation? How do we solve the problem with recruitment? What's the cause for the failure for young men and women to sign up? It strikes me that it's something that needs to be defined. I know at Fort Riley we have the greatest level of retention of any military installation, but recruitment is down. So retention is there, but not recruitment. What's your story?
There are a number of challenges that have come together, Senator, to create headwinds. Foremost among those challenges is 2 years of COVID. As you well know, sir, recruiters spend a lot of time interacting with prospective recruits at schools, and so their access to schools is pretty important. If they don't have that access for 2 years, then it certainly creates a challenge for us. You add that to the fact that we've seen the lowest unemployment rate in decades, and so there are a number of things that have combined to create the challenge. It's not the first time that we've seen challenges in recruiting, as you know, and when I was in the military, I was a recruiter for a period of time, and I know that the things that you have to do to improve. Number one, you have to increase contact with your prospects. You have to invest in advertising and marketing. You have to have the right quality of recruiters out engaging the public. You have to engage centers of influence like yourself and other key leaders in the community. And all of those things are, our services are working to up their activity in all of those areas. And I'm optimistic that this trough that we entered because of the effects of COVID and other things, we'll climb out of. And we're seeing some positive trends, and we'll continue to do the right things and invest in the right things to make sure that gets turned around.
Well, as you know, our capabilities of defending our country rest solely with the men and women who serve in uniform. I wish you well in those efforts in any way that I and I'm sure my colleagues can be of help to get folks to sign up. Please include me. Please ask.
I would make one strong request, and that is that we all emphasize the value of service. And whether or not you serve in the military or whether or not you serve your community or you serve as a member of the federal government, service is really important. But certainly hearing that from key leadership in the country, I think would help this overall effort.
Thank you, sir. Let me ask you about the National Guard. We've seen how important the National Guard is, what role they play in defending our nation. The National Guard makes up 20% of the joint force, but the National Guard Vice Chief is the only Vice Chief that's a 3-star. Thoughts about if that's appropriate, or is there a plan to remedy that circumstance?
I agree with you, Senator, that the National Guard is critical to our overall department, to the Department of Defense. I can't overemphasize the capability that they bring to the force. This is something our structure in the number of billets that we have is something that we continue to evaluate. I have all the authorities that I need. I don't need any additional authorities or help. But that's something we'll continue to look at as we go from year to year into the future. And right now, I don't see any need to affect any changes.
Well, thank you for your consideration. Finally, Secretary Austin, my time is about to expire. Congress last year, so I'll just make this point. Congress passed the PACT Act dealing with toxic exposure by our servicemen and women. We have significant challenges of families and service members who were impacted by contaminated drinking water at Red Hill. And if the department has not established an exposure registry, I encourage you to do so, and I hope that this budget has the resources necessary to care for those service members and their families.
We have established a registry, and so thank you, Senator.
You're welcome. General Milley, thank you for your service. Appreciate you very much.